The journey toward your greatest self begins the moment you decide to chase what terrifies you. It starts when you launch yourself toward dreams that seem impossible, knowing full well that failure might meet you at every turn. But here's the truth that separates those who transform from those who merely wish. You must rise each time you fall, dust yourself off, and charge forward again. The real tragedy isn't in falling. It's in never having the courage to leap in the first place. When desire burns hot enough in your chest, solutions appear where others see only obstacles. But when that fire dims to embers, excuses multiply like shadows at dusk. The universe has a peculiar way of testing your commitment, of asking repeatedly, "How badly do you really want this?" Your answer reveals itself not in your words, but in your willingness to endure what others won't. There's no gentle path to the other side of transformation. Growth demands a price, and that currency is suffering. Not the meaningless kind that destroys, but the deliberate kind that forges. Like a blade tempered in flame, you must pass through fire to become unbreakable. Yes, it's agonizing. Yes, every cell in your body will scream for you to stop. But healthy organisms grow, and growth always arrives wrapped in discomfort. Becoming the truest version of yourself means saying goodbye to comfortable lies and familiar limitations. It means standing at crossroads and choosing the harder path, the one that leads upward into unknown territory. This discomfort you're feeling? It's not a warning sign. It's proof you're expanding beyond your previous boundaries. Talent is common. Desire is everywhere. But somewhere out there, someone's heart beats exclusively for the same goal you're chasing, and they're willing to sacrifice more, train harder, and push deeper than you can imagine. When nobody's watching, they're perfecting their craft, building habits that become second nature, mastering and remastering their skills until excellence becomes involuntary. If your journey feels effortless, you're likely coasting in familiar territory. Real growth tears you apart before rebuilding you stronger. The agony you endure today transforms into the power that courses through you tomorrow. Every drop of sweat, every moment of doubt, every burning muscle, these are down payments on the champion you're becoming. Suffering isn't optional on this path. You cannot negotiate with it or find some backdoor around it. The only choice you have is whether to rise when it knocks you down. Everyone craves success, but few are willing to embrace the suffering that births it. So suffer now, deliberately and completely, and live the remainder of your days as someone who conquered themselves. This isn't a game you can play casually. Each morning demands your full presence and maximum effort because your future self is watching, waiting for you to lay the foundation for their life. The children not yet born, the people whose lives you'll touch, entire generations may depend on what you choose to do in this moment. Your actions today are writing the story of your tomorrow. People dream of new beginnings, different cities, upgraded lifestyles, meaningful relationships, influence that matters. They want wealth and power and the respect that comes with achievement. But they recoil from the suffering required to earn these things. Here's what they don't tell you. Nothing worth having arrives without pain. So lean into that pain. Make it your ally. Let it carve away everything weak inside you. You could break every bone in my body, and I'd still find a way forward. There's a place deep within where I transform all the agony life throws at me, where I reverse the energy of suffering and use it as fuel. I've learned to be comfortable in absolute discomfort. That's where I'm most alive. My joy comes from looking back at the brutal journey and knowing I never surrendered, never took the easy path, never quit when quitting would have been simple. Only the weak chase goals they already know they can reach. Real growth lives in uncertainty, in attempting what you're not sure is possible. That's where your body is forced to adapt, where discipline today prevents the devastating regret of tomorrow. When your mind and body unite in purpose, when you're willing to truly suffer for your vision, you unlock capabilities you never knew existed. Greatness isn't about having some special gift. Everyone possesses the raw materials. The question that matters is, will you do what greatness demands? Most people listening right now have everything they need, but greatness requires doing whatever it takes, regardless of cost or comfort. There was a point when I realized I had to stop being a weak version of myself. The only path forward was through deliberate suffering. I had to build calluses on my mind the same way hard work builds them on your hands. When I broke a world record for pull-ups, it took 67,000 total repetitions to complete 4,030 in one session. I failed twice before succeeding. That's the mathematics of transformation. Thousands of painful repetitions for one moment of breakthrough. I saw myself as the weakest person alive and decided to become the hardest. Did I achieve that? Maybe not. But you need an audacious goal to chase. I understood that the only person who could save me was staring back from the mirror. The only method that would work was subjecting myself to the worst experiences imaginable, systematically building mental armor through pain and suffering. It's not about the size of the dog in the fight, it's about the size of the fight in the dog. Yes, life deals you difficult hands. Yes, circumstances aren't always fair. But you don't have to shortcut your dreams because things got hard. Champions aren't born different from ordinary people. They simply show up every single day. They treat failure as education, welcoming it because failure teaches more than success ever could. Getting knocked down and standing back up. That's the overriding factor that separates those who achieve from those who merely attempt. This resilience is available to anyone willing to show up consistently and risk failure in pursuit of success. What fascinates me is how desperately we avoid pain as a species. We run from hardship, from difficulty, from anything that knocks us off balance. But I believe you need something brutal in your life, something that makes you feel terrible in the moment, because in the process of clawing your way back, you become someone new. Without being tested, without going through hell, you have no foundation. You're untested theory, not proven reality. People talk about survival and strength, but these are just words until you've lived them. When I speak from experience, from actual suffering, from battles fought in the depths of myself. Pain will always exist. Betrayal is inevitable. Someone will always doubt you, overlook you, undervalue you. People will talk without action, stay near you without supporting you. Pain is guaranteed, unavoidable and unending. So use it. Transform it into fuel. You must learn to live inside yourself, blocking out the noise of insecure people projecting their limitations onto you. All those voices calling you inadequate, all those doubts planted by others. Flush them out completely. Believe in whatever gives you strength, whether that's a higher power or simply yourself. Strip away everything external and trust one thing absolutely: your own capability. Finding greatness isn't something I can hand you through words. I might ignite a spark, but you must go inward to find the fire. That requires silence. Stop talking. Find solitude. Search your soul, examine your mind, discover your true abilities. These treasures hide deep inside, waiting for you to unearth them. But if you're not actively searching, you'll never find them. Your journey begins with understanding why you exist. What purpose drives you? Without this answer, you'll spend your life searching, always questioning, never arriving. When you're in the depths of hell, feet broken, body screaming, mind begging you to stop, you need something to draw from. I created what I call a cookie jar, filled with memories of every time I failed and persevered, every hardship I conquered, every impossible thing I achieved. In moments of extreme suffering, even the hardest people forget their strength. That's what suffering does. It tests whether you remember who you truly are. So when life becomes unbearable, I reach into that cookie jar and pull out reminders. You survived hell week, you endured what killed others, you are capable of extraordinary things. Here's something liberating. You're under no obligation to remain who you were 5 minutes ago. You can simply decide to become someone else right now. The main thing holding you back is the fears you've created. Humans are born with only 2 fears: loud noises and falling. Everything else is learned. The fear of failure, rejection, poverty, being unloved. These are intellectual constructs, not reality. They're perceptions of imagined future events that may never occur and aren't happening right now. We grow through suffering. That's how we become something the world hasn't witnessed yet. When challenges arrive, you need to be ready. What if pain could make you better? What if it could build muscle in your character, help you reach higher, leap farther, run faster? What if pain isn't hurt at all, but help in disguise? Every small step has more value than you realize because it prepares you for the giant leaps ahead. True champions aren't discovered in the arena. They're forged in countless training hours when nobody's watching. Those final moments that determine victory or defeat aren't won in the last second. They're won through thousands of hours of preparation. Do you get up and run at dawn when it's pouring rain? That's where championships are actually won. At the end of competitions, what determines the winner isn't potential. It's perseverance. I know your character because you remain the same person in adversity, victory, and defeat. Most people live on the comfortable side of suffering, in a box where everything is predictable and safe. But a few rare individuals are willing to cross over to the other side, to venture into territory that terrifies them. Ask those people how they feel after emerging from that darkness. Ask how much they grew. In a short period, they evolved more than most people do in lifetimes because they left their comfort zone behind. On the other side of suffering waits greatness. We're built to climb uphill. When you reach a summit, you appreciate the view, but then you immediately want a higher peak in the distance. It's the uphill climb itself that gives life meaning. Almost all positive emotion is experienced in relationship to a goal, so you want one that continually recedes as you approach it. This might sound frustrating, but as you pursue that ever-distant goal, you become more integrated, and your life grows richer and more abundant. You wouldn't pray the way you do if you'd never been hurt. You wouldn't love as deeply if you didn't know what hatred feels like. Pain teaches you what to embrace and what to refuse. Feelings are irrelevant to dreams. This is what you've chosen, so you do the work regardless of how you feel. You do things you don't want to do, things that don't come easily or naturally. You cannot let emotions dictate your actions. Feelings are weather. They change constantly and mean nothing about your capability. You can't leave everything on the training ground and expect results elsewhere. It doesn't work that way. When you give everything in preparation, you earn the right to expect everything in execution. But you can't half-commit in practice and expect a full life in return. Running miles daily, hundreds of push-ups, weights, working multiple jobs, stepping outside your comfort zone constantly. None of this gets easier. But it's worth it because this isn't about fitness or money. It's about mentality. It's about building the mental fortitude to continue regardless of circumstances. Nothing worthwhile should be easy. If it's easy, it's probably not worth doing. Too many people celebrate achievements they didn't earn through real effort. Challenges, failures, and setbacks give you ammunition. They teach you what the ground feels like so that when you get knocked down later, you know exactly how to get back up. Life is relentless. You must keep returning from failures and doubts. Keep fighting. Keep rising. Never stay down. If you've been broken before, you understand what that feels like, so try breaking you again. Suffering has no expiration date. It doesn't care about your background, your race, your wealth. It keeps coming. So stay hard. Yes, it hurts. Lifting these weights, pursuing these goals, it's painful, daunting, cumbersome. You're sweating, bleeding, crying, suffering. But after suffering comes reward. We spend too much time thinking about the pain instead of imagining how magnificent the future will be after we've endured it. After the blood, sweat, and tears, after you've cried every tear you can cry, you use that pain as advantage. At what age should you have everything together? For most of us, it takes time. You need to mature and grow because if your dream is big enough, you're not currently the person capable of achieving it. Keep moving forward, doing what needs doing, while simultaneously growing in knowledge, experience, and character. Do the people who seem to have it figured out still struggle? Absolutely. That's why they're so relatable. They haven't solved everything. They're shoulder to shoulder with everyone else, fighting the same battles. People see your current position and judge quickly, but they weren't present for the struggle. They missed the sleepless nights, the pain, the trauma, the tears. They weren't there to pick you up. You did that yourself. What gives anyone the right to judge your ability when they don't know what you're capable of? They don't understand what you can do. So find a way to push through. Keep going. Nobody can tell you anything when you're the one who dragged yourself from darkness back into light. They have no business in your business. We all face adversity. Every single person, including me. When you're doing everything possible to become your best self, there will always be forces trying to tear you down. The best way to overcome this is through faith. Not necessarily religious faith, but faith in something positive that carries you through difficulty. Imagine using pain as fuel. Imagine it as a passport to new levels. What if pain pushed you, conditioned you, and prepared you for the stages you'll walk onto and the rooms you'll command? What if pain could make you better, build muscle in your soul, and cause you to reach heights you never imagined? I'm struggling right now, my friends, but that can't stop the work. In a world where everyone seeks comfort, why don't you be the one who embraces discomfort? Be the one who accepts the challenge, who never surrenders, who never stops, who becomes the person everyone else is too afraid to become. That choice,
That willingness to suffer while others seek ease is what transforms ordinary into extraordinary.